Hello and welcome back to Andrew's One Barbell episode 19. Almost there. What's that? Like 1% make it to 20
Is that it?
episodes? I think so. I might be making that up, but it's some small percentage make it to 20 episodes. So we're almost there.
We're nearly there, and that's going to be the last episode.
Yeah. Then we finish it up.
Then we
Got to make it a good one.
they're all. Good
I'll just talk about myself and that.
They're all good ones. I'm not going to be there. Yeah.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
After that competition, we won't be recording anymore. It'll be soloed only after that weekend.
Yeah, so what is the purpose of this video? The last one we did was, the Junior Worlds preview. So now we are going to chat about how it actually went. Give a bit of behind the scenes. So you feel like you're there with us. We're going to share all the intimate details of the competition. So, where did we leave off? It was a nice note. It was very optimistic that we've already won. Nothing can go wrong.
Yeah.
Then what happened?
Everything went wrong. No. We did leave it on that note because it was nice to acknowledge.
Yeah.
It was very freeing. As you said, it was freeing to know that we've already won and no outcome can be bad.
Yeah.
Even if bombing maybe would have been
it might not have felt
unfortunate,
great, but
that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so ended up being a fantastic time, a fantastic weekend.
Yeah.
So where do we start?
So from when we turned off the camera, what happened?
Me and you just got straight to it.
So we turned off anyway. We were in an Airbnb. You had to go to like the official competition hotel.
Yeah.
One of three. We were given three options, and we chose the worst one.
We chose the cheapest one.
Yeah. So we had an interesting one. You checked in, went up to the room, literally the smallest room that I've ever seen.
I don't know how they fit a double bed in the room.
That's it. You open the door and then you stand on the double bed. That's all there is.
You open the door, like the doors are open fully and you get onto the double bed.
Yeah.
I liked it though.
Yeah,
I like being in a hotel.
It was good. It was
Yeah.
And one of the things that was like my favorite about this competition was the proximity of everything.
Ooh, man, all the hotels, even the Airbnb we were staying in initially, that was close to one of the hotels.
Yeah.
And that was on one side of the bay. To get to the venue hotel, which was on the other side of the bay, 10-minute walk max. And then my hotel was like in the middle.
Yeah.
Our hotel.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Whereas for comparison, previous competitions, the worst one I would say was probably Poland 2022 European Championships. The hotels were 30-minute drive apart. So you couldn't see your friends even if you wanted to.
Couldn't see your friends, and the shuttle to the venue that you have to get on could be late, could be full, whatever.
Yeah. So that was a big stretch. And there was 3 hotels for that one. Everyone was separate. Everyone was scattered. We were talking about it. We were referring back to Poland 2022. And Andrew was like, was I at that one?
Yeah, I couldn't even remember. That's how underwhelming the whole event
that experience was. And I was like, yeah, you definitely were there. But I couldn't actually recall any experience. Because
we didn't have the experience.
We didn't see each other
for
the duration of the trip. It was so far apart. And the night after, normally when you'd celebrate, and that was the worst part. You couldn't get taxis. If it was a 30-minute drive and you could get an Uber, chill. But it was in the middle of nowhere. They didn't even have taxi apps.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure leaving the place we went to after our night, me and Ewan, there was one taxi driver just doing
everything, coming back and forth.
So he'd go like 20 minutes one direction, come back,
and then pick the next person up. Mad. Yeah, I think you had to call a number, and then you're trying to speak to them in Polish, and we don't speak Polish. Yeah. Whereas this one, you walk. Everything is within 10 minutes.
This was the best spot.
Yeah, 100% by far. And it was so nice as well. The actual scenery, beautiful, amazing. Malta is the spot. And they're I'm pretty sure Malta is like a partner or a sponsor or something of the IPF now.
Really?
Yeah, they're like a destination sponsorship. So they'll be doing a lot of them in Malta as far as I know. Yeah.
It felt very... Because not only could you see your friends, but you could see all the other lifters. Everybody was always in close proximity.
Yeah.
No matter what, you're walking past people on the street.
Yeah.
Every hotel. It was great. Everything was so connected.
By far, my favorite comp experience, I think.
Yeah, overall. Just full stop. Probably my favorite, yeah. And we'll get into why.
Yes.
So that night, after we shut off the cameras and got to it, we went to the venue.
Yeah.
Got to meet a bunch of lifters.
So many people. It was so funny. I was standing there and every time the door opened to the reception of the hotel, I was like, oh shit, I know that person, I know that person, I know that person, I know. And it was non-stop, just seeing old friends, meeting new people who were like with people that you know. It was crazy. I don't even know how to describe it. It just felt like I was on a holiday with all my friends.
On a holiday, like what I imagine the Olympic Village feels like.
Yeah. And I think that's only because we've been doing it for so long.
Definitely.
Like we know a lot of the other lifters, we know a lot of the other coaches, even some of the officials. You'd know, like you've been around them so many times.
Yeah.
It literally just felt you were away with all of your friends. So that was a really nice first kind of day. I would consider that the first day that we were there.
Yeah.
How were you feeling during that? Because you were chatting a lot, but obviously you're lifting the next morning. So were you?
I thought it was helpful because I don't like ruminating on the lifting too much in my head. I don't like sitting with it and worrying about the potential negatives. At that point, all you need to do is go lift. So I didn't need to plan or do anything. I had visualized enough. At this point, I just wanted to switch off until I was on the platform. So it was actually very nice getting to see everyone, getting to talk. I think then went back to cook, ate food. You guys came back, had food. And then I went to the hotel, time to switch off, got some ice cream, finished up with like loads of calories, 600 carbs, ice cream. I wasn't even fussed. I knew I was getting up early. Yeah. I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast. I don't get up early. I'm getting better at it now, but I sleep abnormally late and I get up abnormally late, but it's getting better. And thankfully I'd started my masters in the last week, so I was getting up a little bit earlier.
Yeah, a little bit more in routine.
But weigh-ins were at 7 and they're an hour ahead.
Yeah, that's 6 hours on.
So I told myself, like we said in the podcast, doesn't matter. Yeah. It's whatever. So got up at 6:30, showered, got there perfectly late because I was like 2 people out.
Yeah.
And weighed in. Wait, yeah, now we're on my lifting. Yeah, so weighed in, 101.6 or something.
Nice.
Was very good.
Where you wanted to be?
I thought that was perfect. Training was between 100.5 and 101. Nice. So I think whatever, ice cream and getting up early and hadn't shat. So I was ready to go. I don't know why the official told me like I had to weigh in naked, but you know, that was before they even brought in the weighing scale. So
that's actually just in the bathroom, the disabled bathroom.
Why the disabled bathroom?
Because there's more space, brother.
So anyway, put everything back on.
Yeah.
Went downstairs, watched Creed, and tried to
After you weighed in?
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
And tried to eat cream of rice. Did not mix it right.
Tried to eat sand.
Haven't gagged in a while.
Yeah.
That got me there. So
nice.
Ended up just having like half of that and had bread and honey.
Yeah. Nice.
And the venue, perfect. Yeah. Went in to get warming up. I do some warm-up bits when I'm training. You know, I have like a little 5-minute routine of kind of like cracking my back, cracking my hips. I do like some single leg RDLs, single leg hip thrusts, some kind of bodyweight squats, things like that, some push-ups. There was no time. I was lifting. I think I was lifting in about 15 minutes and I hadn't touched the bar. And they were already on 170.
Yeah.
So I went down.
Why? You're too busy watching Creed.
I don't know what was going on. I think we were just so lax about it and we were like chatting.
Yeah.
And then...
It was oh shit, it's go time.
Yeah, Cravens was like, have you not taken 70? Like? So 70, 120, 170 in probably 5 minutes. Which was nice though, because I didn't have time. Like I did...
You can do that as well. Those are so...
You can do that. You should be able to do that. Yeah. Really your warm-ups, really all lifts, you shouldn't... That's something I think we've touched on a little bit before, but you don't want to be fragile to
in your approach,
variability. You want to be like impermeable to whatever is going on, whether you forget something, whether something is happening, whether your headphones die, whatever bullshit. And because circumstances do change all the time.
Especially something like superficial like that.
Something superficial, yes. Yeah. Whereas, of course, many people get in their heads, fuck, I don't have that much time to hit my warm-ups. Doesn't matter. Yeah. So, a few reps, 70, 120, 170. Took 225 and Kremens hit me with, I think that was good enough for 260 opener. I was like...
Not anymore!
Not anymore, bro.
Oh, fuck.
So... I thought, fuck. So I just like dug my heels in for my own sake, knowing what he meant, but also if I start to give in to it feeling shit,
then it's self-fulfilling.
Yeah, because my warm-ups before comp, I think I'm just nervous. So I was like, of course they look a bit weird. Yeah. But I also don't squat that fast, and I just said, yeah, it's fine. He's like, all right, well, like, make it move, please. Made it move, and then from then I just let them call attempts. I didn't want to be thinking about the numbers. Yeah. Squatted 285.
Crazy.
Yeah, after the adductor.
Crazy.
That was
How
kind
did
of
that?
beyond my dream.
Yeah.
I
Oh
remember
man.
when
8 weeks ago.
we decided that I'd be doing the comp. I had, like I said, I'd be okay with 200 on the bar. That'd be cool. I'd probably be in pain. Manage that. Then very quickly I thought maybe 225. You know, I know it's so far from 277 PB. And then after a couple of weeks, I was like, how cool would it be if I got up to 280, 2.5 kilo PB, kind of a milestone number.
Yeah.
And then towards the end, and then when I hit the 260 triple,
Yeah.
Adam was like, fuck it, we'll load the
load
record.
it up.
So, Irish national record, 285. 1 to 287.5, obviously can't ship it at an international competition.
Yeah.
The way my warm-ups are moving, it would be hard to argue the bigger jumps. So I jumped to 272, or they jumped to 272. I did it, and that moved even better than 260. I don't know what it is.
Thought that, yeah.
It's like I become more. It's like my expectations become more in line.
Yeah.
It's like I know it's going to be heavy, and it's heavy. Whereas 260, it's like your opener, you want to feel easy,
You
but
want
it's
it to
heavy.
move really fast. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're kind of out of line. So then 272, amazing.
Yeah.
Jumped another 12, 285, bodied it.
Yeah.
Felt incredible.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That was amazing.
Definitely
When I saw
want to try to break that
couldn't
record. Yeah, I couldn't believe it, man. I could have loading it and just seeing that white on the bar. It's just, man, you know.
Especially after everything that you'd gone through with that. That's great. Like I can't. It's almost like I can't give enough words to like justify how cool and impressive that is.
And I don't mind talking over and over about it because it is a cool feat.
Yeah.
Coming back from that injury.
The picture of your adductor where your whole inside of your leg is purple. To say in 8 weeks' time, like imagine in the depths when that was like destroyed. You're like, you are gonna squat a 7.5 kilo PB.
When it was at its worst, I was leaning into being silly optimistic because there was no point in otherwise.
What's the alternative?
Of course, if you're a coach or if you're like a physician, you don't want to like delude people and have them be more depressed at the change in outcome.
Yeah.
But in my case, I was like, if I'm going to do it, I may as well hope for the best, shoot for the moon, land among the stars, as we say. So, but still, it's like, even at that time, I actually knew for a fact I wasn't squatting that much.
Yeah.
It was a fact to me.
Yeah.
And probably to you. Because it wasn't just...
I've never seen that. Like, I've never seen that.
That turnaround.
Yeah.
I've never... Man, on that kind of injury, it's always like, after a few weeks, they get back to the bar.
Yeah.
After a few weeks, then they get back to like 120, 170.
Yeah, that is like a big... It's like an eye-opener for me. Again, like we talked about it, we made content on it, like the power of like a positive outlook. Nuts.
Is that a separate point?
Say again?
So, squatted 285. Bench, from this point on, squats are the only scary thing. I'm chilling. Bench feels as strange as it did in training. I busted my wrist up when I was away a few weeks ago, so every bench rep hurts a little bit, which was like sore on my wrist, so all the way up to 160 just feels crap. And open 177. I'd only hit 180 in training. Hit 177, fine. Long pause.
Very long pauses.
Kind of unnecessary in my
opinion. I'm like watching someone, I'm like, come on.
Yeah, just
like,
give it to
what?
him. Yeah, the bar stopped. 177, jumped to 185. That was hard.
Yeah, that was a 3-count PB, wasn't it?
It was a 3-count PB. Long pause, so it was obviously going to be hard. And then jumped 2.5 to 187. Smashed that. So very happy with that. Comp PB. And then deadlift, very interesting one. Deadlift in training had been toddling ahead of squat until the final week when I tripled 260 on squat. I doubled 260, barely held on. I could barely lock out the second rep of 260 on deads because of my grip. Couldn't go for another one because of my grip. So I knew that in the back of my head, my grip was poor. It had been feeling poor.
Yeah.
So I didn't, 70, 120, 170, 220, opener 260, didn't feel good. So I was like, okay, 275 next, yeah, sure, whatever.
Load it.
I'll definitely get it.
Yeah.
Tighten my belt because I was just getting...
Why did you do it? Explain. Dive in.
It's like when you are fearful, you're looking for this like exogenous source of security. And so when your belt is tighter, everybody listening will know that like even just standing there,
you feel more secure.
You feel more secure because of course I'm bracing from just standing. But then, especially with this belly, I don't know if like leaner people experience this, but like when you are completely flexed over, you're like everything is expanding. I don't know what the crack is, but thought that'd be fine. Pulled 275. It was slipping out of my hands once I got past my knees. Nearly locked it out. Dropped it. I was like, man, if I end up hitting that 285 comeback, 187 bench, and then my total is fucked because of 260. Because my comp PB, in the previous comp, I'd pulled 277, failed 282. And then my comp PB was 280.
Yeah.
So if I ended up at 260, my total's regressing.
Yeah.
You know?
I was thinking that as well when I was watching.
Really?
I was upstairs in the balcony watching down, and I was like, after the 275 drop, I was like, ooh, you don't normally do that. Like maybe you can do that on the last one, but don't do that in the second,
on
brother.
The second, what are we gonna do? So it was very hot, and we'll talk about that. It was very sweaty, and I'd overlooked that because again, I'm not trying to consciously process all these variables that could be diminishing your output, but it was sweaty. So I came off and it was kind of like fucking. We went up to 280 anyway because if I'm dropping 275, I'm dropping 280. Right? You know, so might as well try in case you can summon some extra strength or fucking charisma coming out there for 280. Just convince yourself.
Fucking raise up the reps.
Yeah, the reps. Just convince them it's done. So anyway, because 280 is cooler than 275. So when young Andrew would find it hilarious that we're like laughing at like just put on 280 for the crack. So then cleaned my hands, reapplied chalk.
Yeah, what kind of chalk?
Liquid chalk that was there.
Yeah, is that allowed?
Well, it dries out your hands.
That's not the question. That's not the fucking question.
No, then I put on the actual chalk.
Yeah.
So yes, that was all that was in contact with the bar, and loosened my belt because I was like, fuck it. I think what's happening is my hands were under even extra stress. You could see the sweat completely, no chalk in my hands anymore. But then, because of the tighter belt, I was pulling slightly out of position. And that slightly out of position, it's like the tension was distributed strangely and my hands had to just bear more load sooner.
Yeah.
I don't know.
More friction or stuff, more smushing through maybe, who knows.
Everything. And 280 was easy.
Yeah. And watching it, I was with Alana and we were like, I think she said, do you think you'll get it? And I said, yeah. And then she said, yeah, as well. I don't know, for whatever reason, we both just had a feeling. I just had a feeling that you would pull it out. I don't know why. I think it was because the 275 is unusual for you to drop.
Yeah.
So I was like, nah. Like he's squatted a PB, so he's on. Like, he's good for it today.
Yeah.
Why would it be weird? And then I just knew you'd switch it on. And you did.
I did. So now there's a few more kilos there to pull.
Yeah.
And now, after that performance, we'll talk about Euros, but I've never been more excited for a competition. I was actually fearful of the back-to-back turnaround.
Yeah.
Now I'm so glad that we had this little turnaround at the end. Just to go one last hoorah. What's it good for? Yeah. Absolutely nothing is the answer.
Yeah, absolutely nothing.
So yeah, just ended up being my best day lifting. Then, after lifting.
How much of a PB?
Total PB 12 and a half.
Huge.
Which is sick.
Yeah.
Squat 7 and a half. Huge. That was cool. Absolutely delighted. So, after that, we spent some time in the venue, chilling out with everyone.
Yeah.
In the 105s, it was a good fight. Reagan, is that how we pronounce it?
Reagan.
903 and a half.
Great.
Best male junior and world record total.
The best, yeah.
This guy is the densest person.
Yeah, that was actually fucked. Joey, my coach, took a picture of me, Reagan, and then Bjorn, a German lifter who's also in the 105s. I weigh, 10 kilos more than these guys? Maybe a little bit more. I looked tiny beside them.
Yeah. And Andrew is a big guy. For anyone who hasn't seen him in person, Andrew is a big guy. I don't know what these guys are eating.
Yeah.
Yeah, what
I don't know
oxygen they're breathing.
Where is, what, how? How do they weigh that much at that size? I don't know.
And it makes you feel small.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You need reminders that you're big.
This is something that we were talking about, non-stop after that experience. Like, how, the severe body dysmorphia. Extreme body dysmorphia.
Because in pictures, that picture was like weird angles or whatever. In every
Baggy
other
clothes.
picture with them.
Yeah, we look
the same from when you stand back.
Yeah.
Obviously, up close, Reagan, Bjorn, ginormous.
In a tank top, you're like looking at the size of arms.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And they're like leaner
Yeah,
as well, so everything looks bigger, and their waist is smaller, so proportionally it's different, but
yeah,
impressive.
yeah. Motivating as well.
Motivating. Very
Motivating.
motivating.
Like for all the stuff that we've talked about, and like the importance of building more muscle, the importance of gaining weight, that all started from being at international competitions and being around people who are that size. Because when, say you're just a, how do I word this in the nicest way? Say you're just like the average lifter who's been in powerlifting like a year or two, and the extent of the people that you know in powerlifting are just the people who happen to be in your gym, the people you happen to be around, and then you see people online. But you can't gauge the size of someone like accurately through your phone screen. No. That was what I had experienced. I just knew the people in my gym, and then you maybe see people at like local regional competitions. When you then go to an international and you see the person in your weight class who is the same age as you, the same weight class as you, and you see how big they are in person, it's such a wake-up call. You're like, oh my God. I know now very clearly what it is that I have to do. It was like I remember it like 2 or 3 years ago. It was like getting smacked in the face. I was like, it is abundantly clear what the gap is between me and these people. And that was even reaffirmed again. That's after me committing to it for 3 years. It's abundantly clear that more muscle mass is the fucking key. It's the answer. And anyone who says otherwise, right? More muscle mass is the key. If you stand around Reagan, the guy with the fucking world record total, the biggest deadlift, you'll see. More muscle mass is the fucking answer. So yeah, that is the feeling coming away again from that competition, having met these people. So anyway, yeah, you've done your lifting, we were hanging around, we were chatting a little bit.
That's fun.
Then what? What did you do after that? You just celebrated and went out?
No, firstly I fell asleep, I crashed. We went for a huge meal as well.
Oh fuck yeah,
We went for a huge meal. And we had like a cinnamon bun, glazed. Glazed cinnamon bun.
It didn't come like that in the shop, but it was.
Yours was extra glazed, bro. So then we bought them, and then so food coma, lifting coma, tired from traveling, sleep needed, but like a gram of caffeine in as well. So it was like this weird dichotomy of my heart rate is higher than normal,
but my
body's fallen asleep, and I'm in a food coma. So I had a shower and just lay in bed, going between napping and awake for like 3 hours.
10. Okay.
And then met up with the guys going out.
Yeah.
And had the crack. Yeah, it was nice to be with a lot of lifters. Spent a few hours out.
Yeah.
Headed home after like 2 drinks. Not too late.
Yeah.
Because the next morning, I was up for this king.
Yeah.
So I bet you were worried that I wouldn't wake up.
Nah, I knew I could rely on you.
Good.
I knew you were.
Good.
I knew you got me. You got me.
Of course.
So yeah, for me, after our meal, we went out for a big meal at like what?
4, 3?
I think less. Yeah, because we had to check out of the Airbnb at 11, and then we weren't able to check into the hotel until 3. So we left anyway before 11 to come watch you lift, milling around the venue, hotel. Just knew that we were going to have to wait out and about. So that's where we were chatting to people. Then we went and got food, got a massive meal about 3 o'clock. I was again conscious because it's kind of harder when you're in the Airbnb, you can cook, but when you're out, you just can't. Like you're relying on restaurants, you're relying on snacks and things like that you can buy in the shop. So I was like, okay, I'll try load up on something now. It's early enough in the day. I'll have another big meal later on as well. So yeah, big burgers, chips, stuff like that. That was fine. And then I was like, okay, I've already done like 15,000 steps today, which is probably not ideal the day before I'm competing. I wouldn't do that at home ever. Also super duper hot out. So I'm like sweating a lot and so on and so forth. Anyway, went back to the hotel where we were and I was like, I'll just chill out for the rest of the day. I think I was just doing kind of like check-ins and stuff with my lifters, watching like a bit of YouTube or something, and did that until probably like 8 o'clock, just doing nothing, just chilling out. And then I realized, oh shit, I need to have like another meal. And I had cereal, I had like a box of cereal. I was like, oh fuck it, I'll just finish the cereal. That's like 1,000 calories. that'll be fine. So I did that. I was eating cereal, watched a movie, and then
movie? What movie?
I'm pretty sure it was.
Oh God.
What?
You're guilty about the movie you watched.
I'm pretty sure it was Minions: Rise of Gru.
Good.
And the worst part is, it was only like the last 45 minutes because I'd started watching it and then didn't finish it. It was good. It was actually a really good movie. So yeah, finished that. Then, yeah, I'd eaten the cereal, but like it wasn't nice, to be honest. I didn't even finish it. I was like, oh, fuck it, whatever, it'll be fine. I didn't bring my scales over, my weighing scales, so I didn't actually know where my body weight was. Throughout all of the training, I'd been like 117-ish kilos. So I was like, I'm way under. There's no way I'm going to be even close to the limit. So like, I've broken scales when I've brought them before. So I was like, I don't want to break these scales. I'll just leave them at home. And I know I'm going to be underweight. So that was fine. Small dinner, if you can even call it that. Went to bed early, woke up the next morning, and made my way to the competition venue. Really cool experience. Joey, my coach, was there, and it's the first time he's been there for a competition in like the 5 years that we've been working together. We've probably done like 8 or 9 competitions. So probably more, maybe. More. Yeah, maybe we're over
2 or
like
3 years.
Yeah. We're probably over like 10 competitions now, and it was the first time that he was there. So that was amazing, getting to actually like chat to him in person. All that, great. Go into the back room, getting ready to warm up. You came in as well. There was a ton of Irish coaches there, like really, really good support.
What are you going to say?
Yeah, fucking you know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, actually, fucking, I weighed in 114.8. So I'm
Nearly 3 kilos down.
fucking hell. When I saw that on this, because I was joking with people were like taking the piss, oh, you're like a tiny 120, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh yeah, I could weigh anywhere from like 115 and a half maybe, because I haven't eaten anything this morning, to like 117 and a half. It'll be fine. And then 114.8. I saw 114 on the scale. I was like, no, what the fuck? And I messaged you and I just texted 114.8. Ha 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 ha. Like, what? What the fuck? So
How did you feel about that? Were you worried?
nervous, yeah. But similar to yourself, you're like, you don't think about it, you don't talk about it, because you don't want to actually bring it into reality. You just push it to the side and fuck it, what this is the circumstance now, so I'll just make the most of this current circumstance. But yeah, I was aware that is very, like, I haven't seen 114 on the scales in probably 4 or 5 months. So I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Now, in hindsight, it just makes a lot of sense. It was 30 plus degrees. It was like 80+% humidity. So like super sticky and clammy. Whenever we walked outside, you didn't even have to be doing anything. If you were just outside standing there, you would have been sweating.
I like to think as well, the heavier you are, the more work you're doing per step, and so you are.
We justify it that way, yeah.
Yeah.
So like if I went outside just in a t-shirt, the t-shirt would be drenched after 15 minutes. Yeah. So that had been the case. Like the first night we kind of talked about this when we got there. We were walking around for ages. So again, sweating non-stop. I think I just dropped a lot of weight just with the activity. Say like, again, running through the airport, doing like 15,000 steps a day probably while we were there. The heat, sweating a lot. So yeah, that obviously took a bit of a toll in that regard. Anyway, then it's time to warm up. We're in there. I'm feeling good. Like I'm feeling mentally probably the best that I have been approaching a competition. Again, it didn't even feel like a comp. When I was going to bed that night, I just had this like something that just kept coming to my mind. Is like, it doesn't feel like a competition. It doesn't feel like I'm competing against the other lifters. Like it almost feels like what other people are doing, and like the place that I come doesn't matter at all. It's literally just like an exhibition or like a showcase of all of the years of work that I've done, and this is just like the culmination of that and the opportunity that I have to just show the work that I've put in, and whatever is the outcome of that work, I'm totally happy with, because that's again the best that I can do, and I'll put my best foot forward. So very relaxed, very at ease around all the people that I'm friends with. Start warming up in the zone, go to put my knee sleeves on. Fuck me. So I have my sleeve on here, I'm pulling it up, and then I go to like unfold the sleeve, and I don't know how I did this, but my nail got caught in the fabric as I was pulling it up, and I pulled it up hard because my legs were really sweaty because it was like super sticky, so it was making the sleeves harder to get on anyway. My nail got caught from like halfway across my nail, bent back. In the pit of my stomach was just like, I was about to get sick. And I looked at it, and instantly I could see the line across which it was bent, and just blood started leaking out of my finger. And I was like, no, you're fucking kidding me. And I showed you, and I showed Joey, and then Joey was freaking me out even more.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, fuck. He was like, is that going to affect you now? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. I hope not.
Yeah.
And he's like, is that going to affect your pulse? And I'm like, I
hope not.
No, yeah. But it was so, it was like throbbing. It was like stinging. I was looking at the blood. Even, it was just freaking me out because it's gross. Like, it's squeamish. Your nails aren't meant to go back that way. So I have a video, I'll post a video of just blood leaking out of my finger. What was worse is like if you touched off the nail at all, yeah, it would like shoot from your hand up your arm into the pit of your stomach, and it's disgusting. So anyway, I was just trying again, push it to the side. Just tell yourself it's not gonna make a difference or it's not gonna hinder you. So that was the best that I could do. Anyway, started warming up. Warm-ups actually felt fine. I remember for junior nationals last year or this year. Warming up for squats, I was like, oh my God, this is the worst I've ever felt squatting, I think, in my life. I was like, are we for real? I was almost like falling over with like my warm-ups. But what was happening this time, when I was walking to the venue in the morning, you had to like walk down a hill, and I took one step and I got like a twinge, like in the bottom of my quad, like kind of around my knee. I just like felt a little bit of a twinge, and it somewhat went away, but I could feel it as I was walking. Every time I unracked the bar for a squat, I just got like a shooting pain into my quad at the bottom. And then I would do the lift and it would still feel fine, but it just this one shooting pain, like 4 out of 10 in my leg as I was going. Didn't say it to anyone. I was like, I'm not mentioning it in case people then want to drop the numbers that we go for and whatever. Warming up, it was cool in the venue as well. The warm-up area was separate to the area that you would kind of go through to like go through the tunnel onto the platform. So that was nice. When you leave the warm-up area, it's like you're going off to battle. Like you're leaving that area behind, and then you're in the game area, the game zone. So that was cool. We went up there and was waiting. I don't know. I was waiting around. The meet moved quite quick. I think there was only 8 or 9 people in my flight. Like that, yeah. I like that though. I generally like not to take too long between warm-ups and so on. But I just remember like we were walking up there, and like it felt like 1 minute after we had got up there.
I think it was.
It was like, okay, we're going. So you might have seen on the stream, if you were watching or you care, I was called out to go. I didn't have my wrist straps on at all. So I was like, oh shit. Had to wait like 20 seconds as I was putting them on. Went out. Opener felt slow. Did feel slow, didn't feel amazing, but came off. And everyone was like, oh, fuck yeah. So I was like, okay, whatever you guys think, put it on the bar. Yeah, whatever you think, put it on the bar. And that, I like that feeling when you can just like kind of release all of the responsibility and they just make the calls and all you have to do is lift. I like that. And you know you're in safe hands with the Irish team, with Joey there, you there, Alex there. Yeah, all you guys know my lifting. It was a comforting experience doing that. Then went 300. 300 actually felt really good.
It looked really good.
Came off that and I just said load up whatever you think. And I believe Joey said go 12.5. So Joey and Alex decided, okay, that's what we'll jump to. And that was like low end for what we thought for the day. I've squatted 318 in training. So 312, smoke that, easy. Just build the total, 3 for 3, perfect. Went out for it, super confident.
This was the slowest squat I've ever seen.
Oh my God, I've never done a squat like that in my life.
Point straight away. Like normally you like kind of bounce out the hole and then you hit a stick. He stuck as soon as you came out of the hole.
I hit the hole and then I was like, oh, I'm not coming up. I was like, what the fuck? So I was kind of laughing as I was going, and I got like I feel I'm slowly moving. It's like I'm not controlling my body. It's like I'm just a bystander. I'm just watching what's happening from inside my brain. So I'm like laughing, being like, why is this so fucking slow? And it almost feels like the spotters have taken it, but I know I'm still moving. So I'm like, what the fuck? And 6, 7 seconds later, I'm still creeping. And then, do you know when you go past the sticking point and then the lockout is easy? No, oh, not on this fucking
Yeah, you were kind of like on the video. You're smiling and then you're like, oh, fuck.
The fuck? So like even the lockout is slow. Funniest rep. That's probably my favorite thing that I've ever done in a competition ever. And I was like, why? And I literally come off the platform being like, what the fuck?
Everybody's laughing.
What was that? Wet myself laughing. It was
I don't even know
amazing.
what makes it so funny because like it's impressive that you did it.
Yeah.
It was just unexpected is all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, makes so much sense.
Yeah, with the things we know.
Being almost like 3 kilos down in body weight.
Yeah.
And then even like warming up, you're pumping sweat even more. Like we have a green Irish t-shirt. No, that fellow was black. That thing was, it was drenched, soaked. So that was squat. I was like the morale was high after that. No, because I've never even had to grind a lift like that before, I don't think. So like having experienced that, I was like, okay, that's cool. But I was talking to Joey and we were like, okay, after a hard lift like that, maybe we will adjust expectations for the other 2 lifts. So we'll see. Warmed up for bench. They had the old new Alico pads in the back. The ones that are like rock solid, kind of rubbery ones.
Grippy.
Yeah.
But you don't sink into them.
Yeah. Super like just stiff and not very nice. Yeah. Yeah. So warming up didn't feel amazing, but like it all moved fine. I knew everything was going to be grand. I went out for my opening bench, right? So, but in the warm-ups, they were like, okay, just make sure, like, with the shape of your shoe, that your heels are like fully planted, because sometimes they can be kind of like anal about stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I'll just try and make sure. Platform is always a little bit slippery as well, so maybe it doesn't feel as nice as it would in like your regular home gym. So I was like, okay, I was conscious of that. Blah blah. Went out, unracked it, benched it, felt amazing, came off. And everyone was laughing when I came off. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what is going on?
Man, this guy made up his own press
What are you talking about?
He made up his own press command. We're all watching, and we all go like this. Me, Joy Flex, Alex Cramers, we're all stood there like this. Yeah. He skips the press command. We all go, and look up at the lights. We're all like, and they were like, oh, bro, what do you want next?
That was... I had paused it for what felt like 5 seconds, and I heard press as clear as day, and I pressed that shit. I don't know what you guys need hearing aids or something. No. Fucking, I've got supersonic hearing, maybe. I listen to everything in 2 times speed, so maybe my brain is quicker with that kind of stuff.
No, your multi-sensory temporal integration's fucking poor, bro.
Bro, 3 white lights.
Yeah.
3 white lights. Yeah. No one can argue with that.
Even the refs were looking. They were like, "You giving them a red?"
Yeah. No, it was perfect. They were making that up. If you watch back the stream, you can hear clear as day. Nah, I've watched like 5 videos. I press in synchronization when
he only said press because you did it.
No, they're fucking talking shit, man. Don't listen to them. Anyway,
well, what happened on your second?
I couldn't believe that they. No, don't talk about that one. I couldn't.
It's dumb.
No, because in case someone watches next time. No, stop. Anyway, they were all like, oh, you skipped the press command. I was like, no, I fucking didn't. They gave me 3 whites. Anyway, went out for the next one. I was like, I'll just pause it for ages then for this one. Did it, benched it, 3 white lights, say nothing. Watch the stream if you want to know why.
Yeah. So after that hip thrust, what did you do?
After the hip thrust, I then went on to my 3rd attempt, 192.5, 5 kilo comp PB. Benched that one, easy as well. Hips were firmly planted on the bench. It was perfect.
Yeah. It's the kind of bench though. So you mentioned how the bench in the warm-up room was the hard old new one, the hard one. Yeah. This one's more like a sinky, squishy one. Yeah. Where if you can imagine benching on something like that you sink into, your glutes, you don't really feel them on the pad. Yeah. The kind of proprioceptive feedback is worse because it's such a squishy pad that even if you're tapping into it, your bum's almost just pressing it down a little bit. Yeah. So
yeah, it was a weird one. And next competition is going to be a rogue one, which is different. So that's totally
Let's go. Man, sounds like we're going to bench a lot on that thing.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. 2 milestones incoming.
Between Worlds to Euros last year, I benched 182.5, I think, at Worlds, and it was hard. And then I matched that weight at Euros, and it was like
Really easy.
at 6, yeah. So hopefully, if similar, we can maybe bench 200. We'll see.
Yeah, if I'm handling you, it's going on the bar.
So yeah, that's cool. Deadlifts came around, and when I was warming up for deadlifts, I could feel the nail dragging up my quad for the first couple. And again, as I was saying, like even if you just like tapped off the nail in that kind of circumstance, you could feel it in your stomach. Like feels like someone kicked you in the balls. Like so I was then subconsciously kind of, as I was getting towards lockout, I was like keeping the bar like away from my quads, like not in contact. So a little bit kind of funny. Joey was looking at me, he's like, is everything good? And I was like, oh yeah, totally fine. And then warm-ups were going on, 3 reds, 4 reds, 5 reds, fine. Like it's all looking easy. Went out for my opener, 310, done that a million times before. Looked fast, was fine. Technique felt fine, okay. I have like changed some stuff with my belt positioning in the last like couple of sessions leading into the comp. It felt grand. It didn't feel amazing, but it felt fine. Jumped up to 330 for my second, and it felt terrible. Like it felt really, really bad. When I got to lockout, I could feel my thumb tearing, and I was like, oh fuck. I could see the ref go to give me a down command, and then he obviously could see me struggling a little bit at the top, holding it. He hesitated to give me the down command, and I'm like hanging on for dear life, trying to make it look as convincing as possible. And then he gave me the down, I put it down, and I walked off, and everyone was like, that was so fast, that was so good, what do you want? And I knew full well, like I was looking at my torn thumb, bleeding, knowing I just about like swizzed the lockout on the last one. I literally said, put on whatever you think. Yeah. So I knew we were in contention to like get a medal and stuff like that. I said, just put on whatever you guys think. So I've pulled 340 in training. I've missed it a few times with a torn hand, but they put it on. Now I have like tape and stuff. You're allowed to use tape in competition. You can use like 2 revolutions of medical tape. So you ran down, got the tape from my bag, we put it on. It was actually bleeding through the tape, so I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, here we go. Just what can we even do? The flight was moving so fast as well that I was going to be up in like 2-3 minutes anyway. I almost just didn't even have time to overthink it or get in my head. When I came off after the second, I just had a feeling that I wasn't going to get the third because of everything that was going on. Went out for 340. There was some kind of fuckery with attempt changes. A few people changed attempts to pull back down. Someone like got an attempt, then someone missed an attempt, and we could have dropped down to a lower weight, but I think some other coach got in the way as we were putting the thing in. And
yeah, I think he dropped it to 340 as well.
Yeah, and then for some reason they wouldn't accept our attempt change by the time that we'd gone to put it in. But the other coaches were like confident that I should have been able to do it based on the speed of it. Went out for the 340, actually got it a lot closer than I would have thought, like with the thumb situation. So like grip wasn't like, it was a variable, it was a factor in what was going on, but it didn't like fly out of my hands. I didn't let go of it. It was sore, and it felt like I wasn't fully connected to the bar. I didn't feel like super strong or stable, but to be honest, I think it was just a strength thing. With body weight being down after taking hard squats, hard benches. I think 340 was maybe just, I just didn't have it that day, but that's totally fine. We went for the medal. I'm happy with the calls. I just need to fix my fucking thumbs from there. And it was an open national record total as well, so I was very happy with that. That was something that I had been in the realm of hitting for a number of competitions, so we finally got it ticked off. Nice. And that's with 10 kilos lost off the total as well. So, and 10 kilos that I can make up. So coming out of it, there's always like a little bit of like initial disappointment isn't the word, but like after you miss a lift, you're like, oh, no. And that was quickly washed away with, okay, I did my very best. I tried. I actually did better with holding on to it than I expected, given my hands. Total record, yada, yada, yada. I was delighted. I was very happy by the end of it. And even more so, I'm confident for the next competition because I just won't be so light. I won't sweat out a load of weight. I'll make sure that I actually am hitting all my calories. I'll bring my scales over so I know I'm trending on the right body weight leading up to the morning of the competition. Yeah, I'll take care of all of those variables.
It's not going to be as warm.
Yeah, yeah.
Be less moving around. We're in the comp venue.
Yeah.
There's literally nothing we have to do.
Yeah. So I'm more confident now for the next one, given those like variables. So yeah, that was a total PB. It was a national record. Loads of things to be happy about, and it gives me hope for what I can do the next time around too. So just wins across the board. Even if I hadn't got the total record and PBs and blah blah blah, it was still a win. I'd won regardless, no matter what the situation was. I'd won.
You'd already won.
Yeah. Again, it didn't feel like a competition. It didn't feel like there was any pressure. It was funny. I was speaking to another, like a coach from one of the other countries after the competition, and he was talking to me and he was saying, he's like, oh man, that was such a good battle. That was the best battle ever because me and his lifter came 2.5 kilos ahead of me. He's like, man, that was such a good battle. Oh, all the tricks that we played, man, you made like the best calls that you played. You did everything that you could have done. That was amazing. What a good battle. You guys are gonna like push each other to become better lifters and da da da. And I was like, oh, thank you for everything you're saying. But just on our end, I don't know. There was no battle.
Yeah,
like
we were just putting on numbers we wanted to put on.
We were just, I don't know. We were just having a bit of fun. Like I don't know. If you needed to beat me to like that was a victory to you. Perfect. I'm happy for you. There was no battle. There's no. I could not care less what like position that I came in.
What?
And and I think this is like a half-baked thought that I have. So I'm going to need your help to like try unravel it and make it like a concise idea. But I think before, in earlier years of competing, if I like honestly question why did I want to be good? Like why did I want to be successful? And I think if I'm like as honest as possible with myself, I think there's an element of if you are successful and you're really good and you're coming in first place, you're the world champion, everyone is looking at you with like admiration. People like you. You have more connections. You're in a position where you can talk to the other really successful lifters. You feel as though if you're like lower down in the ranks, your worth is lower. I had that as like a subconscious feeling. It's not something that I was like actively thinking, but I thought if I was good and successful, more people would like me and I'd be in positions to make like more friendships. I think that is probably like the root of why I wanted to be successful in powerlifting. And then I realized through being at the competitions, there's a lot of people who can like place first and be unhappy and not be happy with themselves. And you might be talking to them and then you realize, well, this isn't very fun. Like, it's a very low kind of atmosphere. It's not a nice or like pleasant place. I'm not sure if I would want to be like that. And then I realized, regardless of where I placed, if I'm just nice to other people, people are nice to me. And then I can associate with the people who are really good and high up in the sport and really successful and become friends with them. And I realized that's what I actually enjoy a lot. I enjoy the interpersonal connection. I enjoy making friends with these kind of people. I enjoy lifting. I enjoy the challenges that it brings for me, and it gives me like a purpose. So I'm happy in that regard. If I'm nice to other people and I'm having a good time, they're nice to me, so I can make new connections, like that interpersonal connection. I think that's what I value the most. So I realized, regardless of where I place, I can get everything from the competitions that I want to get. So like I feel like the world champion because everything that I could need, I've achieved and I've brought. If I placed 5th or 4th or 3rd or 2nd or 1st, I don't think I would be any more happy than I am now.
One, Andrew's the most famous person at these competitions. When you're walking around, Andrew is the most famous sought after person at these competitions.
Yeah.
So whether or not he was placing last or first, that wasn't going to change. 2, allowing our happiness to be dependent upon something out of our control is challenging.
Yeah.
It happens, but it is very challenging. And so using that as the metric of success is pretty tough. And then your own identity then, if you're starting to tie yourself to certain positions or certain potential placings, and that doesn't happen, then how you're viewing yourself, your own self-worth goes down. So it's nice to hear you say that. And I noticed as well, one of the people who you want to be around the most who was at this competition was Ronnie, camera guy Ronnie.
Yeah.
And this guy doesn't lift. He's not a powerlifter.
Yeah.
And yet, so there's no placing with
There is no status
example.
or there is no.
There was no well, Ronnie lifts this. So
he's the world champion, so I want to be around
no one gives
him.
a fuck because he's the nicest guy ever.
Yeah.
That's what matters.
And that's what people want to be around. They want to.
Of course, there's a prerequisite that we have to be X strong enough to
make
be
it
at
to
the
these,
competition. Sure. But when you're there, I didn't care where the people were coming to that I was talking to.
Yeah. If you're a nice person,
that
counts for a lot. If you're having a good time, that was one of the strong sentiments that I came away with a few years ago as well. Is again, you could talk to people who are world champions, and the conversation is, oh no, I'm not happy. I'm disappointed with my performance. No, and then they're like sulking. They're sulking for the rest of the day, and you're like, I don't want to be around someone who's sulking and being negative. So I realized, again, regardless of where I place, if I'm happy and I'm like outwardly enjoying the experience, I'm smiling. I noticed myself, I just gravitated towards lifters who were having a good time. Or when you see a lifter who's real like moody and stroppy and broody out there, or they miss a lift and then they're cursing and screaming and so mad, you're just like, okay. And again, that's fine. I'm not judging you, but it's just like,
it doesn't attract my kind of energy. My vibe.
Yeah. Whereas if there's someone, again, regardless of what position they're in, if they're having a good time out there, you're like, I fucking love that person. Yeah. And then you're supporting them, you're behind them. So that's like kind of, if I can give like I don't know, behind the scenes, that has been like my mindset for these competitions is just enjoy yourself. Be smiley, be happy. And I remember saying actually going into last year's Worlds, it doesn't matter what position I come in, I'm going to have the most fun out on the platform. It doesn't matter what, if I'm first, second, third, fourth, fifth, second, 10th, last, whatever, I will have the most fun on the platform. And that has kind of been the approach that I have. And I come away feeling fulfilled. I come away feeling happy. I've made so many friends at the competitions, which again is like what is most important to me, I would say. So yeah, I won. I literally, it could not have gone better for me, I think. So yeah, I was very happy with that whole experience.
Me too. For you as well.
Thanks.
Not just for me.
And for you.
Yeah. Numbers wise, we'll finish talking about the weekend, but numbers wise, I actually think that your numerical outcome was the most conducive to Euros.
A big.
You kind of needed it.
Yeah.
Because we had spoken just before the competition. I was trying to sway you on an optimistic train of thought for numbers, but you had peaked on these milestone numbers like 4 or 5 weeks out from the competition with 700 pound squat, 200 bench, 340 pull that you kept missing. It's going to be hard to trump that.
What goes up must come down a little bit.
And we kind of take that, we don't even take it for granted, we overlook it a lot of the time, and then we panic when things are on the way down, when it is this natural undulation, like a sine wave, that performance will just trend through this. Now, ideally, you're keeping the confounding variables tight enough and consistent enough that the wave is is not too extreme and it's predictable as well, perhaps. But and so what I mean by that is, we can't always control what's happening in the life, and sometimes that dip is higher, and then sometimes that peak is higher as a result of other things being fixed or whatever. When things stay steady, you tend to trend within like, okay, feel pretty good, feel meh, but it's all within this range. For you, you had hit that peak of the sine wave with everything that you hit. And so I think
The valley is
the valley was this competition, and you took the best out of it you could. Now, still, to make the valley even harder to get through was the heat, was the body weight loss, probably eating less, moving more, everything going on like that. So now, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. In my head,
I think so. Yeah.
right now, you are literally just
About to
picking up, you're accelerating,
towards
and that peak is at the comp.
the crest of the wave. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope so. Think so. I think it could be.
Yeah.
We have an abundance of experience. We've an abundance of knowledge. We know everything that we need to do.
Yeah.
There's no pressure. There's no stress. We just enjoy it. We tick the boxes like we know we should, and yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
We'll see what we can do.
I don't even think you like fish that much, but you've been eating that salmon of knowledge. You've been munching on that salmon of knowledge. You
Yes,
just
sir.
Put your finger on it, and you had the knowledge. Yeah. So
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Was there any other large lessons or like anything of value that we learned throughout the prep or we learned throughout the competition day itself? Anything for you? Any big takeaways?
I guess one that we had mentioned previously was we have learnt not to worry about variances in input variables on comp day. So, my squats felt pretty poor in the warm-up, and I didn't do all my normal routine. It was fine.
Yeah.
Bench, the platform so slippy all the time. Press commands abnormally long, didn't matter.
Yeah.
Deadlifts dropped my second, didn't matter.
Yeah.
Whereas a younger me would have panicked at all of those
stages.
plus some, would have went very poorly. So
yeah, I like that. For me, fucking have a good time. Be nice, smile. Yeah. It's that easy, baby.
Yeah.
It's that easy. So now we look ahead 5 weeks, 4 weeks. We go to Czechia, Pilsen.
Yes, sir.
You're excited?
Yes, sir.
You're ready?
Yes, sir.
You're
Normally after competition, I take a week off because I have cheese knees, as we've discussed before.
Yeah.
After competitions, I am beat, and mentally, physically goes hand in hand, because when you're mentally checked out, of course, whatever fatigue is in your body is being amplified. Your perception of that is being amplified because you want it to be in line with the I don't want to train.
Yeah.
I came out of this itching to train. We trained on Monday.
Yeah.
You lifted on Sunday, didn't you?
Yeah. So I trained
hilarious.
the next day.
We both trained on Monday. Who else is in the warm-up room? All the champs.
Yeah. Oh, literally all the best lifters. Yeah. Everyone was in there the next day.
Yeah. We're all lifting.
Yeah.
And had a good time. But that kind of set my mind right.
Yeah.
And I knew I was looking forward to Euros after the competition because I was so like, oh my God, the Irish record is right there. Bench, milestone right there. Deadlift, I finally kind of felt good on that third pull. So I was buzzing. But then now, after that training session, I came home, hit an SPD, raring to go.
Yeah.
Raring to go.
Yeah. He sent me some voice messages, all fired up.
Oh,
getting me fired up.
I don't even know where I go in those voice sessions, man, but I was parking.
Yeah.
I was movie quoting.
Yeah.
He was getting the whole shebang.
Yeah.
And we're ready to go, aren't we?
Yeah, it doesn't get better than this.
Excited?
I'm very excited.
Good.
I actually did say to him the night after I competed, I was like, I don't know if I want to do Euros. I was like, I don't think I will. But that was short-lived. Yeah. We then realized, okay, it was short-lived because, this is actually a good point of conversation. It was short-lived because I want to cut so bad. Yeah. I want to cut. Yeah. Now, I knew I'd be in this position. I knew full well it was a commitment that we had made to get to this point in order to maximize my performance. And we have achieved that. I've hit massive milestone numbers that, if you had told me a few years ago, didn't even think were humanly possible. I've done that. And I want to go into a deficit. I want to just reset because I've been in a surplus for the bones of 3 years, maybe more, with one period of a deficit throughout those 3 years. So I was like, do I need to do Euros? I've taken the open national record now. I've hit these massive milestones. What if I just start the cut now? Soon after I had that thought, I was like, can I not hold on for another 5 weeks? Yeah. Am I so insecure that I can't I'm not even that displeased with my body composition. Like I feel big, I feel jacked. Now, obviously in a singlet, like a skin tight fucking suit, I feel like, oh yeah, nah, I've got a belly now. Oh, look at myself. But what? This is going to be 8 weeks of deficit, and that's going to be gone. And it's not like this is one of the big things. It's not like I accidentally got as big as I am. I have been force feeding myself to get this big. If I just started eating like intuitively, like my body wants to eat, it will be gone. But I know for a fact, if I were to do that, I would then be missing the time where I was so strong and I was so capable and I felt so big in a double XL t-shirt. So 5 more weeks for me to maximize performance as best I can. And then I'll have a tidy up phase. And then I start the process all over again. I bring it back down to a baseline, and then I have another 6 to 9 to 12 months of gaining, and that's going to be an amazing period of time. Will it be super fun while I'm in the deficit? Probably not. I'll just shift my priorities to like take the enjoyment and fulfillment out of seeing those body composition changes, seeing the scale coming down, similar to how I would take the enjoyment and fulfillment when I'm on the way up as feeling fuller, feeling more muscular, feeling my like performance increasing. You just flip the script. And then it sets me up for infinity time ahead where I can be in a surplus and enjoy training again. So yeah, that's the position we're in now. I can deal with the current body composition for another 5 weeks because I know I can have, again, a lifetime ahead where I have a six pack and I feel jacked and so on and so forth. So yeah, that is how we're looking at the moment.
Man, dealing with it, I feel, is even paying heed to the idea that it's a nuisance. Like, I get it, but also we've kind of put these last 2 comps on a pedestal for so many years that if you had told either Andrew Blackwood of 19 years old or of 30 years old that you skipped the last one because you wanted to cut 5 weeks sooner, what would they say?
I can't even say what they would say.
Oh, I can't even say. The nasties. You're up at me. Yeah. So I can't even imagine. And I personally didn't. I knew my gut that I want you to do it.
Yeah.
I knew
I would. Yeah, you knew I would.
I knew you were at the bottom of the trough of the sine wave. That it's right. It's a good idea to do.
Yeah. I concur, and that's the position we're in. And then and that's another good point is that like you can focus on the downsides. You can focus on how it's a nuisance. You can focus on how you feel a little bit pudgy and how it's a little bit harder to like walk up the stairs, or how you sweat a little bit easier when you're in a hot country. Or you can focus on the fact that you can now bench 200 kilos. Or you can focus on the fact that your arms are the biggest that they've ever been. Or you can focus on the fact that you fill out a double XL t-shirt. Or you can focus on the fact that any given day you can come in and squat 300. Or you can focus on any of those things. All of the positives. If you're focusing on the downside, yeah, obviously you're going to get yourself in a fucking shitty mood and a shitty position. If you focus on all the upside and nitpick all the positive details, well, you're going to have a good time.
That's life.
Yeah.
That's actually perfect. A perfect thing to go by in life, because when you do cut, if you keep focusing on the negatives, you're going to find them.
Yeah, because then it'll be, oh my God, now I'm weaker.
Now I'm so much weaker.
I can't.
I don't get to eat what I want to eat. I'm lifting so much less weight. Everything feels shit. I feel flat. I'm not feeling the same clothes. It's like, well, then what are you going to do? Then everything's shit.
Are you just always looking for the negative?
You're just always looking for negatives, and then life is just shit, full stop.
Yeah.
Find the positives and enjoy that shit.
Yeah, find the positives. Practice like gratitude. Actively find things to be grateful for. Again, maybe this is going to be my new fucking phrase, is nitpick the good things. Just like force yourself to find things to feel good about. And you will then feel good as a byproduct of that. If you are constantly looking for the bad things, no shit, you're going to feel bad. Because there's always going to be good things and there's always going to be bad things. How about you just focus on the good things and then you'll probably feel nice.
Yeah. That's perfect.
Yeah. Right. Is that all? Is there anything else important to cover?
With competition?
Yeah.
Just had a great time after then.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. With everyone, 1 million beers.
1 million beers.
We had 1 million beers.
I had 0 beers. I didn't even have a fucking beer.
Man, Andrew gets the tomato and salads off his burgers.
Yeah, I do.
He's like 12 years old, so he doesn't drink
whatever.
beer. I don't know why it landed. At what point we were like, "You coming out after?" And Reagan was like, we're gonna have so. I was like, we're gonna have so many beers. He's like 1 million.
1 million beers.
And then everyone just started saying 1 million beers.
1 billion beers. 1 trillion beers.
10 million beers.
Yeah, everyone was on 10 million beers. I think everyone in Malta that night had 10 million beers each. It's so
all
stupid.
The barmen were like, what? 1 million?
I have a video of me after 1 million beer, and the barman's just like, what?
1 million? Okay.
Yeah. No. 1 million double vodkas and Sprite, please. Yeah, that was me. Yeah, fucking anyway, that was a good experience. And now we do it all again in 5 weeks.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Right, I think that's a wrap.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. Hopefully there was something interesting in this video, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye.